Roquefort is a sheep milk cheese from the south of France, and together with Gorgonzola, Bleu d'Auvergne, Dinah Bleu, and Stilton is one of the world's best-known blue cheeses. Though similar cheeses are produced elsewhere, EU law dictates that only those cheeses aged in the natural Comembert caves of Roquefort-sur-Solzhenn may bear the name Roquefort, as it is a recognized geographical indication, or has a protected designation of origin. The cheese is white, tangy, crumbly and slightly moist, with distinctive veins of blue mold. It has a characteristic odor and flavor with a notable taste of butyric acid. The blue veins provide a sharp tang. It has no rind, the exterior is edible and slightly salty. A typical wheel of Roquefort weighs between 2.5 and 3 kilograms, and is about 10 centimeters thick. Each kilogram of finished cheese requires about 4.5 liters of milk to produce. Roquefort is known in France as the king of cheeses. Comembert is a moist, soft, creamy, surface-ripened cow's milk cheese. It was first made in the late 18th century at Comembert, Normandy, in northern France. It is similar to Brie, which is native to the Brie region of France. The first Comembert was made from unpasteurized milk, and the AOC variety Comembert de Normandy is required by law to be made only with unpasteurized milk. Many modern cheesemakers, however, use pasteurized milk for reasons of safety, compliance with regulations, or convenience. The cheese is made by inoculating warmed cow milk with mesophilic bacteria, then adding rennet and allowing the mixture to coagulate. The curd is then cut into roughly 1 centimeter cubes, salted, and transferred to low cylindrical Comembert molds. The molds are turned every 6 to 12 hours to allow the whey to drain evenly from the cut curds. After 48 hours, each mold contains a flat, cylindrical, solid cheese mass weighing generally 250 grams. At this point the fresh cheese is hard, crumbly, and bland. The surface of each cheese is then sprayed with an aqueous suspension of the mold Penicillium camemberti, and the cheeses are left to ripen for a legally required minimum of 3 weeks. This affinage produces the distinctive bloomy, edible rind and creamy interior texture characteristic of the cheese. Once the cheeses are sufficiently ripe, they are wrapped in paper and may be placed in wooden boxes for transport. Chèvre is French for goat's cheese, i.e. cheeses made out of goat's milk. They are popular among elderly and children who are more likely to show low tolerance to cow's milk. Also, goat cheeses are lower in fat and higher in vitamin A and potassium. They serve as a perfect substitute for many dieters. A majority of goat cheeses come from France, the most famous among them being Boucheron, Chibis, and Crodon de Chavignol. Goat cheeses have a unique, tart, earthy flavor that sets them apart from cow cheeses. This distinctive tang and aroma grow robust and bold as it ages. Milk production of goats, unlike of cows, is seasonal from mid-March through October. Only a few kinds of cheese are aged beyond 4 months and they cannot be frozen without loss of quality. Considering the availability of limited milk production, experiments are on to make cheeses from frozen goat milk curd. The flavor and aroma of goat cheese rely upon its moisture, density, aging and flavoring. It can feature a soft, semi-soft, firm, or hard texture that indicates its moisture content. They come in many sizes and shapes, such as round patties, log shapes, drum-shaped, pyramids, round loaves, long loaves, etc. Chèvres are excellent dessert cheeses, often served as snacks or before dinner drinks. Feta is a brined curd white cheese made in Greece from sheep milk or from a mixture of sheep and goat milk. It is a crumbly aged cheese, commonly produced in blocks, and has a slightly grainy texture. Feta is used as a table cheese, in salads such as Greek salad, and in pastries, notably the phyllo-based dishes spanakopita and tyropita. It is often served with olive oil or olives and sprinkled with aromatic herbs such as oregano. It can also be served cooked or grilled, as part of a sandwich, in omelets, or as a salty alternative to other cheeses in a variety of dishes. Since 2002, Feta has been a protected designation of origin product in the European Union. According to the relevant EU legislation, only those cheeses produced in a traditional way in particular areas of Greece, which are made from sheep's milk, or from a mixture of sheep's and up to 30% of goat's milk from the same area, can be called Feta. However, Similar white, brin cheeses are made traditionally in the Eastern Mediterranean and around the Black Sea and more recently elsewhere, often partly or wholly of cow's milk, and they are sometimes also called feta. Mozzarella received a traditional specialties guaranteed certification from the European Union in 1998. This protection scheme requires that mozzarella sold in the European Union is produced according to a traditional recipe. The TSG certification does not specify the source of the milk, so any type of milk can be used, but it is speculated that it is normally made from whole milk. In Italy, mozzarella made from the milk of the Italian water buffalo is an important variety. The Italian buffalo mozzarella sold as mozzarella di bufala campana is protected under the EU's protected designation of origin scheme and may only be produced in select locations in the regions of Campania, Lazio, Apulia, and Molise. Fresh mozzarella is generally white but may vary seasonally to slightly yellow depending on the animal's diet. Due to its high moisture content, it is traditionally served the day after it is made but can be kept in brine for up to a week or longer when sold in vacuum-sealed packages. Low-moisture mozzarella can be kept refrigerated for up to a month, though some shredded low-moisture mozzarella is sold with a shelf life of up to 6 months. Mozzarella of several kinds is used for most types of pizza and several pasta dishes or served with sliced tomatoes and basil in caprese salad. Emmental is a yellow, medium-hard Swiss cheese that originated in the area around Emmental, Canton, Bern. It has a savory but mild taste. While the denomination Emmentaler Switzerland is protected, Emmentaler alone is not. Similar cheeses of other origins, especially from France, Bavaria, and Finland, are widely available and sold by that name. Emmental was first written down in records in 1293, but first called by its name in 1542. 3 types of bacteria are needed to prepare Emmental: Streptococcus thermophilus, Lactobacillus helveticus, and Propionibacterium freudenreichii. Historically, the holes were a sign of imperfection, and until modern times, cheesemakers would try to avoid them. Emmental cheese is used in a variety of dishes, particularly in gratins and fondue, where it is mixed with Gruyere. Cheddar cheese is a relatively hard, off-white, sometimes sharp-tasting, natural cheese. Originating in the English village of Cheddar in Somerset, cheeses of this style are now produced beyond the region and in several countries around the world. Cheddar is the most popular type of cheese in the UK, accounting for 51% of the country's £1.9 billion annual cheese market. It is the second most popular cheese in the US, with an average annual consumption of 4.5 kilograms per capita. The US produced approximately £3 billion in 2014, and the UK 258,000 long tons in 2008. The term cheddar cheese is widely used, but has no protected designation of origin within the European Union. However, in 2007 a protected designation of origin, West Country Farmhouse Cheddar, was created, and only cheddar produced from local milk within Somerset, Dorset, Devon, and Cornwall and manufactured using traditional methods may use the name. Outside of Europe, the style and quality of cheeses labeled as cheddar may vary greatly, with some processed cheeses being packaged as cheddar while bearing little resemblance. Furthermore, certain cheeses that are more similar in taste and appearance to red Leicester are sometimes popularly marketed as red cheddar. Gouda is a mild, yellow cheese, originating from the Netherlands, made from cow's milk. It is one of the most popular cheeses worldwide. The name is used today as a general term for numerous similar cheeses produced in the traditional Dutch manner. The first mention of Gouda cheese dates from 1184, making it one of the oldest recorded cheeses in the world still made today. Cheesemaking traditionally was a woman's task in Dutch culture, with farmers' wives passing their cheesemaking skills onto their daughters. To this day, farmers from the surrounding region gather in Gouda, South Holland, every Thursday morning between 10 a.m. and 12:30 p.m. from June until August to have their cheeses weighed, tasted, and priced. Most Dutch Gouda is now produced industrially. However, some 300 Dutch farmers still produce boerenkaas, which is a protected form of Gouda made in the traditional manner, using unpasteurized milk. The cheese is named after the city of Gouda, not because it was produced in or around that city, but because it was traded there. In the Middle Ages, Dutch cities could obtain certain feudal rights which gave them primacy or a total monopoly on certain goods. Within the county of Holland, Gouda acquired market rights on cheese, the sole right to have a market in which the county's farmers could sell their cheese. All the cheeses would be taken to the market square in Gouda to be sold. Teams consisting of the Guild of Cheese Porters, identified by distinct, differently colored straw hats, carried the farmers' cheeses on barrows, which typically weighed about 16 kilograms. Buyers then sampled the cheeses and negotiated a price using a ritual system called handjeklap, in which buyers and sellers clap each other's hands and shout out prices. Once a price was agreed upon, the porters would carry the cheese to the weighing house and complete the sale. Parmigiano Reggiano or Parmesan is an Italian hard, granular cheese. In the European Economic Area, the name Parmesan is legally defined as PDO Parmigiano Reggiano, though it is often used outside Europe for similar non-PDO cheeses. It is named after the producing areas, the provinces of Parma, Reggio Emilia, the part of Bologna west of the Reno and Modena, and the part of Mantua south of the Po. Both Parmigiano Reggiano and Parmesan are protected designations of origin for cheeses produced in these provinces under Italian and European law. Parmigiano is the Italian adjective for Parma and Reggiano that for Reggio Emilia. Outside the EU, the name Parmesan can legally be used for similar cheeses, with only the full Italian name unambiguously referring to PDO Parmigiano Reggiano. It has been called the king of cheeses and a practically perfect food. Parmigiano Reggiano is made from unpasteurized cow's milk. The whole milk of the morning milking is mixed with the naturally skimmed milk of the previous evening's milking, resulting in a part-skim mixture. This mixture is pumped into copper-lined vats, which heat evenly and contribute copper ions to the mix. Copper-lined vats for the production of Parmigiano Reggiano starter whey is added, and the temperature is raised to 33-35 degrees C. Calf rennet is added, and the mixture is left to curdle for 10-12 minutes. The curd is then broken up mechanically into small pieces. The temperature is then raised to 55 degrees Celsius with careful control by the cheesemaker. The curd is left to settle for 45-60 minutes. The compacted curd is collected in a piece of muslin before being divided in two and placed in molds. There is 1,100 L of milk per vat, producing 2 cheeses each. The curd making up each wheel at this point weighs around 45 kilograms. The remaining whey in the vat was traditionally used to feed the pigs from which prosciutto di Parma was produced. The barns for these animals were usually just a few yards away from the cheese production rooms. The cheese is put into a stainless steel, round form that is pulled tight with a spring-powered buckle so the cheese retains its wheel shape. After a day or two, the buckle is released and a plastic belt imprinted numerous times with the Parmigiano Reggiano name, the plant's number and month and year of production is put around the cheese and the metal form is buckled tight again. Manchego is a cheese made in the La Mancha region of Spain from the milk of sheep of the Manchega breed. It is aged between 60 days and 2 years. Manchego has a firm and compact consistency and a buttery texture, and often contains small, unevenly distributed air pockets. The color of the cheese varies from white to ivory yellow, and the inedible rind from yellow to brownish beige. The cheese has a distinctive flavor, well developed but not too strong, creamy with a slight piquancy, and leaves an aftertaste that is characteristic of sheep's milk. The designation Queso Manchego is protected under Spain's Denomination de Origen Regulatory Classification System 2 and the cheese has been granted protected designation of origin status by the European Union. Monterey Jack, sometimes shortened to Jack, is an American white, semi-hard cheese made using cow's milk. It is noted for its mild flavor and slight sweetness. In addition to being eaten by itself, it is frequently marbled with Colby to produce Colby Jack, or with yellow cheddar to produce Cheddar Jack. Pepper Jack is a version flavored with chili peppers and herbs. Dry Jack is a harder cheese with a longer aging time. In its earliest form, Monterey Jack was made by 18th century Franciscan friars of Monterey, Alta California. California businessman David Jack sold the cheese commercially. He produced a mild white cheese that came to be known eponymously as Jack's cheese and eventually Monterey Jack. Other ranchers in the area likewise produced the cheese, among them Andrew Molera, who built a successful dairy operation in Big Sur and whose Monterey Jack was especially well regarded. Although most of the softer varieties found in American supermarkets are aged for only 1 month, Dry Jack is a harder variety aged for up to 6 months.
Please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel and click the bell to be notified when we post new videos.